Did you know that 63% of people say that they are bored with their lives? That's right. More than half of us are living in a state of dissatisfaction and frustration. Stuck in a rut, doing the same thing over and over again without any excitement or passion. Namaste everyone, my name is Aman Kamat, and today I'm here to share my perspective on how you can build a life you love. So what do we do when we feel bored? We try to distract ourselves. We watch television, we play video games, we scroll through social media. Some of us shop, some of us gossip. We try to find temporary relief and happiness in these activities. To put in one word, escapism. But is escapism really the answer? Does it truly solve our problem, or does it just make it worse? Don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching television and playing video games as much as any of you. But I also realize that these are not the activities that give my life meaning and purpose. These are not the activities that make me truly happy. Escapism is like a band-aid. It covers up the wound but doesn't help heal it. It doesn't address the root cause of our boredom and dissatisfaction. And most importantly, it doesn't help us build a life we don't need to escape from. So how do you build a life you love? How do you build a life filled with excitement and passion? How do you build a life that sparks your interest and curiosity? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to these questions. However, I believe that these 3 steps, consisting of identify, experiment, and iterate, will help each and every one of you find the answer that suits you best. So let me explain. The first step is to identify what you want from your lives. What are your goals? What are your dreams, values, passions, weaknesses? We need to have a clear vision, something to look forward to. It could be anything: traveling the world, writing a book, starting a blog. It could be any goal you want. Doesn't matter how big or small, how easy or hard, as long as it's meaningful and motivating to you. You should stick to that goal. Let me describe to you one of my personal goals. I always knew I wanted to build some sort of a product or service that helped a lot of people, and also build some sort of a community around it. So, right after my board exams, I decided I needed to capitalize on this free time and work on something. So I was looking around, I was going through my books, I was going through my stuff, and I found a bunch of my notes that I had created during my board exam that a lot of our peers had found helpful. So bam, we identified the main service of my product. So I took a shot in the dark. I took all of these notes, I digitized them, and I uploaded them onto a website. And I published the website with nothing to lose. Now, all I had to do was find more users. That's where the second step came into play: experimentation. Specifically, experimenting with different ways of achieving your goal. To try new things, test new ideas, and explore new possibilities. I took each experiment as something to learn from, to grow as a person, to discover my potential. For my website, I knew I had to get users. I needed users fast. So I experimented. I tried various outreach strategies, cold emails, free social media marketing. I was putting my links everywhere I possibly could. If one method didn't work out, I switched to the next. With a little bit of luck, one of my methods ended up working out, and we got a few thousand users. Now, riding this momentum of users coming in, I decided to reach out to similar organizations, and we ended up securing some massive collaborations in that industry. So what did I learn from this? I learned to embrace setback as feedback, not as a failure. Change your plans, adjust your strategies, and revise your goals based on the results of your experiments. This brings me to my last step: iterate. Specifically, iterating based on the results of your experiments. Analyze this data, identify the patterns, find the insights. What worked well? What didn't work well? What can I do better? For my website, we had to iterate. Lots of users were piling in, They were asking for new subjects to be added, new resources. Our website needed to be able to handle all of that traffic coming in. So we iterated. We expanded our team. We scaled up. And now our team sits at 6 full-time resource creators, 2 interns, and a social media manager. My website went from a personal initiative to a community-driven powerhouse of over 20,000 monthly users. This project's success, rooted in hard work with a sprinkle of luck, truly shows the power of the identify, experiment, and iterate framework. Now you may say, Aman, this was a short-term goal and a professional one. How does this apply to me or in life in general? Well, let me explain one of my goals that continues to change my life and I believe affects every single human out there. Health. During the COVID lockdown, I realized, and most of you realized, that our health was taking a toll because we weren't moving enough, we were stuck to our screens. So I knew I had to make a change because I wasn't feeling as fit as I wanted to. So this was me identifying the problem. Now all I had to do was change this problem into a goal, something I wanted to achieve. So that's what I did. I decided to make an exercise plan, a diet plan, implement screen blocks in my routine, not for the next month or for the next year, but for the rest of my life. Because health wasn't something I can just tick off. It's a never-ending maintenance process. But as soon as I started, within the first few days, I had made an exercise plan, I had a diet plan, I had water breaks throughout my day, everything was set. But I ran into a few challenges. Because I was just starting cold, I realized I couldn't do some of the exercises in my routine because they were too intense for me. So I had to improvise, I had to experiment. I used exercises with lower intensity, different muscle groups, because I was just getting started. Similarly with my diet plan, I couldn't find some of the ingredients in my area. So I had to use local substitutes instead of what I had planned out to do. When I did this, I felt like I was cheating myself, like I wasn't achieving the full potential what I had set out to do. However, if I could tell that version of myself anything, it would be that sticking to a routine would be the hardest step that I was achieving. The third step was iteration. This is the most important step when it comes to health. My routine had adapted from losing weight to becoming more muscular, more athletic. So that's what I did. As I learned more about life, fitness, and health in general, my exercise plan adapted, my diet plan adapted. And that's the lesson. You don't need a perfect plan from the start. Your plan will adapt to perfection the longer you work towards it. Remember, iteration is not repetition. It's not doing the same thing over and over again. It's doing something slightly differently each time based on what you learned the previous time. Keep iterating until you reach your level of satisfaction or until you realize maybe this goal is not for me. And that's okay too. It's okay to switch goals. As I've written this talk and I've researched this topic, I realized that we as humans, we often chase happiness, which is temporary. And what we should be chasing is fulfillment, which is long-lasting. And I believe we can find the things that fulfill you using these 3 steps. Identify, experiment, iterate. Use these 3 steps to build a life that you love, a life you don't need to escape from, a life filled with excitement and passion. But most importantly, don't forget to be grateful. Because looking forward into the future can sometimes blind us from seeing how far we've already come. Enjoy and appreciate the accomplishments you've already done. Because enjoying building the life you love, the journey of building the life you love, is as important as the destination. For now, thank you for being a part of my journey.